it's not always easy to override emotional patterns with logical thinking. We need to align our emotions to our thinking, to our behavior. If I can regulate my emotions, I can get in the direction. I can direct my emotions in the direction where I need to go. Dreams do create resourcefulness. The more ideas you get, the better meaning making gets. Whatever you have achieved doesn't get to your head. Results don't lie. Your bank statement is your emotions in real time. The things that we're familiar with, we are able to sit with them longer and normalize them. Instead of studying success, which is a science, we demonize it. We need to get to a place where we can build our own literacy. Emotion comes from meaning. Life goes by and you're just serious about life. I just think sometimes you're just too serious about life.
Welcome to another edition of Mindset Profits. I'm just impressed with myself. I'm looking good in Mawendi's set. So, Mawendi rented a studio for us. She allowed us to shit because I am with Mavis. Dr. Mavis Mazhura. How are you? I am looking forward to this one. You know why?
Why?
Because besides talking financial confidence, which is your book, Mawendi dropped your name in one episode that she did, a very viral episode. I think it's got like 250 or something thousand views.
Wow.
Said, there is this doctor, my mentor, very wise woman. Tando, you have to meet her. I said, okay.
That's good to hear.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. So the picture I have of you, from what she planted in my mind, is a picture of a young lady who is poor and not aware that she's poor, growing up until something happens and she dreams of flying around the world and says, one day that's going to be me. 2 decades later, an executive that's living the dream. And it would be so nice to connect the dots and understand what emotional games people play with money and why a lot of people fail at those games. Now you know why I'm excited.
Okay, all right. I can see what this conversation is going really to be like, but thank you for that. And I don't know if that is the question or just the introduction.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Help us connect the two women. The young lady, tell us about her, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, so one of the things that I can recall is growing up not having much. I particularly remember a particular story where my father and my mother didn't go to work, and so we lived in the village, and we went to a rural school, and most of what we had, my father was a subsistence farmer, and here and there we would have additional or excess that we would sell.
Okay.
And so we would have the money then, and it would probably be my father's money.
Were you part of the selling process, or they would do the selling?
No, they would do the selling. You probably would be part of the workers, like making sure that the grain gets to where it needs to get to, using maybe a donkey cart. So you're probably in front or behind, or you're one of the workers to make sure that you get to where the grain needed to get to.
Okay.
But one of the things that happened then is one of my brothers became a student teacher. And one time we was visiting our home, he brought a book. And I was reading this book, and this book was talking about Japan. I was sitting under a mango tree.
Okay.
It was a hot day, sitting under a mango tree. I loved reading. So
you remember that it was a mango tree?
I remember it as a mango tree, and I was sitting there. I can remember clearly, vividly, that picture. I have it in my mind.
How old were you?
I was about 8, 9, right?
Okay.
Yeah, between 8 and 9. And I am reading this book that he gave me, and it says, Tokyo is the largest city in the world.
Okay.
And I hadn't traveled much to leave our rural homes. So I don't know what happened. I started to imagine, Tokyo. And we always had aeroplanes pass through our house. And you know how kids, I don't know if you grew up in the village, you'll be singing a song, aeroplane, that's all.
Also, every time you see
every time it's passing, you
all the
and you
Until it
dance
passes.
until it passes, right? So I'm there sitting now, I'm imagining me going to Tokyo. But I think the imagination is muddled because you've never been on an aeroplane. So you don't know what that looks like and how that will happen. But for some reason, I held on to that dream that I will go to Tokyo. So I started to imagine a different world from the world that I was living in. Right. And without enough information of what that might look like. But I just knew that there's a different world out there. So I held on to that dream. And luckily, I also was smart in school.
Okay.
Right. So I was smart in school. And as I was going to school, one of the teachers would always say, you're going to be a doctor. And my brother also, who brought the book, always used to say that, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be Dr. Majura. You're going to be Dr. Majura. I'm like,
Well, you are now. They were right.
Right? So they were planting this seed. But to me, it was like, doctor? I don't know what they're talking about, right? But then fast forward, I start living in the city with my sister who was married. And I go to a boarding school. So she sends me to a boarding school. I do very well. I go to high school. I do very well. And then I go to university. And university was obviously government funded. So I go to university and I was top of my class. I was hired to come and to become a teaching assistant. So immediately I finished,
Okay.
I came back to become a teaching assistant. And I remember
Park this for a
teaching.
minute. I'm curious about one thing. Rural school for most of your foundational years to being first in class, even in university, with people who were in private school.
Yes.
Connect the dots there, what was happening. Because I would picture someone who had a lot of disadvantages to work through. Was your English good? That got you.
Oh my goodness, my English was terrible. I think you can even pick, I sometimes pick it even now, that even though you've put in the hard work, you've started internationally, there is just that beat that doesn't want to go away, that when you are relaxed, it just comes out. So my English was not
catches you
good.
off guard.
It catches you off guard. It's like a default setting. My English was not good. I remember when I actually moved in to started studying in the city when I was living with my sister, and I said, I can't remember what word I said. Integrated. I can't remember what the word was.
Or even the
But
way
it-
you said it.
But the way I said it, and the whole class went, wow, like they laughed. Like it was that raw and that rural, the way I said it, that the whole class, the city girls, the city boys, they laughed. They laughed. I think that was grade like 6. They laughed. And I was like,
Okay. That's how we say it.
So I started then learning to modify my words, but it took a long time. But I think the advantage that I had, I loved reading. So
that was your secret sauce.
always, yes, you would always find me with a book. I would go to the library, I would be reading so many books. You'd see my school bag, it always had more books than I needed to carry. So I loved reading. And it still is something that I do up to now.
Did it not affect your social life in that season of your life?
Maybe. I had friends, but I'm one of those that if I have friends, I am a loyal friend. Like I have friends from primary school, even now. I have friends from high school. So I would have a couple of friends, but they
So
are
you kept them few.
I kept them few, right?
So you connect and
Yeah.
connect deep.
But to your point, I probably would prefer to be reading a book than to be out playing in the street. Remember those days we played in the street a lot? I was not that person.
Okay.
I would rather be reading my book.
All right. So from university top of your class, how does it become the executive going all over the world?
So I then become a teaching assistant and I teach for less than a year, and I then get a scholarship to study in the Netherlands. So I went and I do my MA, my master's degree in the Netherlands. So I stay there and then I come back and I also come and study at Wits University. I did a labor law there, labor law diploma at Wits University. And then I also years later, I think like 10 years in between my master's and my doctorate, then apply for a doctorate. And I think the pivotal moment for me, at some point I had given up on the dream of becoming a doctor because life happened.
Okay.
You've got children, you've got bills, and you think, if I have to do my doctorate, how am I even going to be doing that? It just doesn't feature anymore. And then I did continue to want to learn. I would still travel for seminars. I would go to the US 2 times, 3 times for seminars, for conferences. So I continued to learn. I went to the John Maxwell, got certified as a leadership coach, 3 certifications on emotional intelligence. So a lot of also learning about emotional intelligence or managing emotions became sort of, kind of a pivot for me to understand, to say, you know what, if I can manage my emotions, if I can regulate my emotions, I can get in the direction, I can direct my emotions in the direction where I need to go, rather than continuously be looking at what my disadvantages are or what my shortfalls are. So I would then regulate my emotions towards the goals that I wanted to achieve. But I also did a very transformative program in not so long ago though, 2018. I am there at the verge of, I don't think I can do my doctorate. It's 10 years later after my master's degree. Life is happening. Then I did a program, the continuing desire to learn. I did the Leadership for Women program. And this is one thing about me. I would pay for learning. Like, Do you
remember how much?
It was, at the time, 28,000.
Okay.
And that was 2018. 2018?
Probably way more now.
Yes, it is.
Still a lot now, even.
But if you look at what has happened then, like I was sitting and thinking, I can't afford it. But then because I love learning, I found the money for the program, so I did it. But if you look at the returns after doing that particular program,
what changed? What did you change after?
So I think what has changed is I was able to do my doctorate in record time.
Okay.
It was a self-funded program. I was traveling to the US.
Yourself.
I paid it myself. From I can't afford it to I can do this.
I'll make a way.
Right. So I think that shift, and then just setting the goal, but also revitalization of the dreams. So dreams do create resourcefulness, and resourcefulness creates resources.
Okay.
Right. So for as long as I was dreaming, I became creative and innovative, found ways of doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yet at some point I was like, I can't dream anymore. And so the moment I lost the ability or the desire to dream, the more also I got stuck. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the dreaming. So the Leadership for Women, what it did for me was to revitalize my dreams and to realize, oh yeah, you've always wanted to be a doctor. And then someone then saying, do apply. Why? What's stopping you from doing the application? I'm like, okay.
There's nothing.
There's nothing actually. Right. And then I apply, and then, everything was like falling into place very quickly. Like you apply and you get the acceptance, and like, so how am I going to pay the... And one thing leads to the next because you've taken the first step.
How was the culture shock when you went to the Netherlands? Because this is all the way from the village to the shock with the university and adjusting to that, and now you have to adjust again to Europe.
That's very interesting. I don't know so much I don't know if it's the culture shock. So the institution I studied at, the Institute of Social Studies, had people from 70 countries.
Oh, so everyone was experiencing that.
Everybody was experiencing that. So you would be in a dorm where you have an Indonesian as your neighbor. You have a Vietnamese as a neighbor, and you're sharing the same kitchen. And someone would cook whatever they're cooking.
And some of which you can't stand.
You can't. You'll have to take a day out of out of your dorm. You'd go to the library or wherever you needed to be, because some of the smells were very offensive. Like, what? How did you? So there was that bit, but I think there was also almost like an opportunity that was presented to you to interact with almost like the majority of the world.
Did you make friends?
I made lots of friends. It's now you come back, you're older. What I then wish, I wish I had actually been more social. So I still was that person who would still study, but also coming from from a humble beginnings. Some of what I did was to work during that time. So you are studying, but you also in your spare time you are working so that you can generate, money
So then you couldn't make enough friends.
So I couldn't make
because
enough
you-
friends, yes.
Okay.
Or socialize. People were traveling. When you're in Europe, you can go to any of the, European countries very easily. People who had, better resources, they were traveling. They traveled a lot. So one of the things that I look back and I said, if I could redo this, I would travel more, but I would also make a lot of friends, but I would also party a lot.
Why is that important?
Because life goes by and you're just serious about life. I just think sometimes you're just too serious about life and life is going by and you're like, other people were having fun and here we are. What changed? You could have also just had fun and relax and also get to know other people. Because then you become too serious. You're either doing church, work, or homework, or whatever, school. Yeah.
At one point in this journey, did it start to click that I'm going to be great?
Not even. So
you've just been taking it one day at a time?
One day at a time, but also, even when you are there, it's not, so I don't know, there's something about this humility that, like, whatever you have achieved doesn't get to your head.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
I get you.
Where other people look at you like, oh, wow, and I'm like, what?
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. So there's something about humble beginnings, I don't know, maybe for me, and maybe not for everybody, that regulates you.
Oh, so you never get to a point where you feel like I've arrived.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You get glimpses of it. I'm like, oh, how did I even get here? Like sometimes you get glimpses of it, but it's not something that you're resident.
When people celebrate you and celebrate some of your milestones.
Yes,
and
when
say,
people celebrate,
"Whoa."
you're like, okay, is that me? How did we even make it here?
How is it like when you go to some of the people you grew up with in the village? I imagine there are many that never made it out. Have you done that?
It's sad.
What's your reflection on it?
I think it's sad. It's so I think grace, exposure, because some of them never left. I was actually just recently thinking of this one girl. She was so brilliant in our class when we were in primary school. She was always top of the class. She was really brilliant, but she only made it to a teacher's college. And she then started teaching in the rural, at a rural school. And that just became
her reality.
And you look at her now, how, she looks like maybe older than me, but we are the same age. But because of exposure, but also I think part of it is grace, man. You were talking about it earlier on to say some of it you can't explain it because...
Yeah, maybe for context, you ladies were asking me about 93,000 subscribers, how I got there.
Yeah.
And my take is there is the half that I can explain, where I know the shifts we're making, I know some of the optimizations that we do, I know how we handle interviews, the editing and stuff. But there's the other half that I have no explanation for. That's the grace you're talking about.
That's the grace I'm talking about.
I think somewhere along the line an angel found me.
Yes. Because, how did you get just selected?
Exactly.
To leave the village and to have these experiences. And I always sometimes sit with my friends who have always been, grew up in the city, went to private schools, and I look at them and I look at, where we are all together, and I'm like, shoo, my journey was long. My journey was quite long,
At least now you have a clear picture of people who grew up in a very disadvantaged background and made it, some who stayed. You have a picture also of people who grew up in privileged backgrounds but didn't make something significant with their lives or with that opportunity,
right? Because
of financial confidence. The money game, the emotional game we play with money, and why a lot of people lose at that game. Why do you think, what do you think is the importance of your emotions when it comes to the subject of money?
Okay. So emotions are the currency. They are the drivers of behavior. So we do what we feel. If we don't feel it, we don't do it.
Okay. You know, it's a statement that you say, it sounds so simple, so practical, and at a level where I think, so where do we miss it if it's that simple? Because everyone who heard it knows it's true.
So there's an assumption of we know what we are feeling. So there's a mindset. You could think I want money, but you are feeling anxious when you get it. So there's always a disconnect between what we desire or what we think and what we are feeling. And if we don't, and that creates dissonance, right? So if you're experiencing dissonance, you can't take action in the direction that you desire. Right? It scatters your behavior. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So we need to align our emotions to our thinking, to our behavior. And often those three are disconnected.
Emotions, thinking, behavior.
Behavior.
Okay. Which one is the most powerful of the three?
I think emotions are more powerful than your thought. Because how many thoughts do you have every day? Several of them. How many do you take action towards?
Very few.
Very few. So thoughts are like birds. They can fly in and out. But an emotion, once you experience it, especially a dominant emotion, it activates behavior. You are likely to do something about what you're feeling. Right? So emotions drive behavior. What am I feeling? How is it driving the way I'm acting? But I think the key thing is we are born with our emotional brain fully functioning.
Okay.
And your thinking brain develops up to the age of 25. So you're feeling before you can think. So your feelings are older than your thoughts. Right? To the point that when you start thinking rationally or logically, you already have an emotional blueprint. You already have emotional patterns. And it's not always easy to override emotional patterns with logical thinking.
Yo! Yeah, ne? I feel like I need to pause and process.
Right?
So your emotional patterns are so evolved and developed that your thinking, by the time it catches up, can't override them. That's why if I say I want to be rich, I want to be wealthy, I want to be a saver, I want to be an investor, those thoughts don't override the emotion of I am afraid of taking risks, I am afraid of losing money.
That's it. I'm afraid of lack. Because all those things then drive your behavior. Those are the emotional patterns are driving your behavior, not your thinking.
Yo, if that is happening at a subconscious level, because I imagine many people are not aware that those are the emotions driving their decisions. How do I break it?
So, results don't lie. Okay. Your results are an indication of your dominant behaviors. Your dominant behaviors are an indication of your dominant emotions or your emotional patterns. So we can start from results.
Look at the bank statement.
Look at the bank statement.
It will communicate.
It will communicate, especially the bank statement, not the budget, because I always say to people, your bank statement is your emotions in real time.
Yo.
You want to know how you were feeling last month? Go print out the bank statement and see when you swiped and what you did with it. And ask yourself, what was the emotional state here? Right.
Your bank statement is your emotions in real time.
In real time. They are playing out exactly the anxiety of missing out, I want to build the status. If I get this, I'll look better. They are...
So, as you are giving examples, would you say those are because I'm trying to find the emotional states that are behind a lot of poor decisions for many people. What would you say are those ones, those core ones? Emotional states behind our bad decisions.
So fear.
Fear would be number one.
Fear would be the dominant. It can come up in different variations because anxiety is fear. Right.
Okay.
So it can come in different variations. Guilty. There's a lot of fear around it. So the core emotion is fear. So even the majority of us want success, but there's a fear of actually success. Most of us fear it.
Yeah.
And we fear it because there's no one ahead of us we have seen, especially in our immediate families. Right. But there's also a sense of a relational sense that if I become this, do I lose my community? Because remember, we're communal people.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a dominant fear, and that fear is actually shaped by a lot of things. You grew up not having. So I remember one time I was coaching a particular woman, and she says her father was a chairman of the Stokvel, and he would receive the money, and then he will use the money. Then come time for people to share the money. Now he must sell everything in the house, whatever he had bought with the money. Whether it is fridges or cars, whatever, so that he can put together that money so that people can share. So she then began to associate money with anxiety. So each time the money conversation came up, she would feel so anxious. Now she's working, her gross was around 150,000 rands.
Okay.
But each time her salary...
That's a lot of money. That
Yes.
should be a very comfortable life.
No, she didn't have a comfortable life at all. Because each time money entered her bank account, she started to feel anxious. So what did she do? She made sure that it was out. Yeah, right? So she's not, so this is not to your point, it's subconscious. She's not thinking, I am ruining my life here. She's just overwhelmed and feeling anxious. It just brought back the emotional memory of the anxiety around money growing up.
And
So
when the money is out of the account,
she's
she
peaceful.
feels the relief
She feels the relief
and the peace.
and the peace. Now, logically,
weird
that
how
doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Logically, it doesn't make sense, but emotionally, it does. I need to feel the relief. So what do? Let me make sure that this money is out.
I'm used to being broke.
I'm used to being broke.
This feels normal.
It feels normal than to have money that is just sitting
This
there.
is unfamiliar. This is too many numbers.
Yes, so that is also that bit that we get the familiarity or the things that we're familiar with, we are able to sit with them longer and normalize them almost. Because you can have the emotion, you can actually get used to anxiety around money.
Okay.
You can actually get used. If you
And
see,
behave in a way that
yes,
creates it.
That creates it.
Sure. You're going to send people to therapy.
We need therapy. We do need therapy. That's a given. If you haven't gone yet, you probably grew up in a very safe space, but the majority of us haven't grown up in very safe spaces. We need therapy. I have had to go to therapy myself.
Is it?
You need therapy. There's no way if you grew up in the majority of the household that we know and see even today, how you can function effectively as a human being.
All right. So I'm looking at two type of kids. One who grows up in a poor background and makes it, and one who grows up in a poor background and doesn't make it. Why is it that those kind of environments sometimes to others are a catalyst for how far they grow?
Yeah.
They build vision, they build ambition, they build a desire and
Right.
a will to fight. But those same environments cripple others because it's still a whole emotional game at the core of it,
Right.
but it's playing out different in different people.
So it's the explanation you give is almost like the same as we grew up in the same household.
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
father, same parent.
Same father, same parent.
Right?
Whole different
All different. Yeah? And sometimes when you're having conversations with your siblings, like,
Where
is
we-
this the same parent? Which parent are you talking about? So emotion comes from meaning. Right? So we're all meaning makers. We can have something happen here and you can say it's good and I'll say it's bad. So that's why you can find, even if there's something topical, other people will be like, this is very bad, and others are like, this is good.
Same topic, same room.
Same topic, same room. Because we are meaning makers. And the way we make meaning, obviously, is based on the beliefs we have, or we've built over time. It is also based on the exposure you've received. right, as a person. It's based on the ideas that you have. So you can be in the same classroom, but the ideas that I will walk away with are not the same ideas. We can read the same book, but the things that will resonate with you are not the same things that will resonate with me. And that then determine how we make meaning. So we're meaning makers, but as we make meaning, the meaning then determines the emotion. So we can be in the same household, same experience, but out of that, one would say, I am going to work very hard. My life is going to be different. Right. I remember hearing a story of, two boys that grew up in the same household, where the one boy was so poor. The father was very, aggressive and abusive. And then the one guy became a lawyer and the one was in prison. And someone interviewed them and said,
What happened?
What happened? And he says, because of my father. Both of them said it's because of my father. The one who's in prison, it's because of my father. The one who's become a lawyer, it's because of my father. So same father, different outcomes. And that's because we are meaning makers.
The meaning they gave to the experiences they were growing up were different.
Yes.
And some had a meaning that was empowering.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. So if I want to sharpen my soul and be the kind of person who, as I go through life, whatever experience, whether I'm broke, I lose my job, I lose my business, I want to be putting meaning to the experiences that empower me for a better future. How do I sharpen my soul there?
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier on, the meanings comes from the ideas that we have.
Yeah.
So the ideas you have will determine the meaning making. But the nice thing is that when we look at our brain, it's malleable, it is changeable. It is, we talk about neuroplasticity, meaning that we can continue to change our brain. We can also do what we call positive displacement. So you may have these ideas like, oh, I grew up poor, oh, things were bad, oh, I lost my business, it's because I'm a bad person. But you can also get in new ideas and replace those old ideas. It's like pouring water into a glass with dirty water. And you start pouring clean water. What happens?
It's not changing.
Over time, it changes. No,
or
over
if
time,
you don't stop.
If you don't stop. So we don't need to stop getting ideas. The more ideas get, good ideas, the more ideas you get, the better meaning making gets. If that makes sense. The more ideas you get.
Exposure to great ideas.
Exposure to great ideas. Where you would ideally have said it's impossible, then you see someone else who's doing it and like, oh, actually it's possible. Right? Actually it's possible. One of my mentors once said to me, go and interview a millionaire and just ask them how they do what they do. Just, you want to get, and almost like a preview into their mindset and their habits. And I was speaking to this gentleman, and I was asking him, he started selling cars. That's where he started. And then from cars, he became, he started owning phones, and then branded phones, and then he sold these phones. And then he went into real estate. So he's doing very well in real estate. Multiple homes and Airbnbs. He has a resort and everything. And so I was asking him, I said, you started here like it was cars. Like it was simple things. Now, how did you get to here? And I was like, no, I started paying attention to ideas when I travel or when I talk to people. I started paying attention to ideas. And he gave me an example to say he was traveling one time to Spain, and he sat close to a Chinese guy, and the Chinese person was talking about how difficult it is to get Rolex watches in China. And then he started thinking, I know someone in Switzerland, right?
And now he's connecting
the dots. So quickly, he's not thinking, he's not judging or questioning or demonizing this experience. He's looking for ideas, because I think one of our challenges is that instead of studying success, which is a science, we demonize it.
Get jealous of it.
We demonize it. We say, oh, what does he have? How can he be? There's something he has done. Right. So we see, especially as Africans, oh no, that one, definitely there's something that is playing around with. Right?
Someone said that to me about the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you see now.
I was giving a talk about how I grew and stuff, just a masterclass on podcasting.
Yeah.
And he says, all right, so I heard that talk,
Give me another.
Give me another one, not the one with the English. Tell me which mountain you're going to.
Oh my goodness. Can you see that? Can you see that? Success is a science. We need to study it and see what are the ideas and be able to connect the dots. But most of us become very suspicious about it and we question it. And the reason we question it is because of the ideas that we have. We're not curious. We're not asking the right questions. We're not saying, oh, Dando, I'm just here to learn. I'm not here for anything. I'm just here to learn.
I want to learn
from you. Is it possible that I can learn from you? I have these 2-3 questions. So we are studying it and we're learning, the success mindsets and the habits and also the ideas that people are putting into application that are working for them.
Who have you talked to who blew your mind?
Who have I talked to?
I know there are many. You've interviewed many millionaires, but who sticks out? Like, dropped a pie and you thought, oh, yes, this is game-changing.
This guy is not even a millionaire. He used to be an executive at MTN, but now he lives in different countries. So he would decide that he wants to live in Botswana for 3 years, and then he will move to Zambia for another 3-4 years, and then to DRC.
People are not scared out there.
I'm telling you, people are not scared. So for me, it was that courage that you can actually just determine the path of your life. You can choose any country you want. You are, and just the freedom. And so when he settles, when I spoke to him, he was in Botswana and says, so he's now running a leadership development company, right? And so he was setting up in Botswana. And then so once he sets up, he leaves. And I think he was saying his next destination is DRC. And he had already lived in Zambia and he already lived in Eswatini. Okay. So he's been living in different, and he's South African. So when I spoke to him, I'm like, huh?
What's going on in your mind?
What's going on? And he says to me, I always see when my time is up. I don't overstay.
Yo.
So I know when my time is up, I start to feel restless. So I don't overstay. So even when he's almost like moving up the ladder to executive in many various big companies, he says I would stay there for 5 years and I would realize that I'm done.
Goodness,
and he said he will fire himself. He was not waiting to be fired. He would tell himself that you are done, and he will move on. And I'm like. So it's not even about, of course he has the resources, but for me it was not even about the resources, it was the way of thinking, right? How do you get to a place where you are so attached but detached? Like you're not, because I think that's one of our things, we are so attached to, once you get things, you don't want to.
You are very attached.
You are very attached, you don't want to. So he's allowing himself to continue to be formed. He's malleable.
Do you think that's one cognitive bias that beats a lot of people, the attachment and detachment? Because I am picturing someone who's going to listen to you saying that story, telling that story now and say, I have had moments where I felt that I've overstayed in a job, in a business that's not working, in a relationship. I've had those moments. But when I feel that I've overstayed, I can't make myself leave.
Yes.
So and it's costing me financially now.
It is costing me. And to your point, earlier on we were talking about, I can't remember what the point is, but we talk now about agility. So one of the skill sets we need in this modern day age of fast-paced change is the idea of being agile. And what does that mean? The ability to move faster. The ability to let go emotionally faster, grab new ideas and run with them. Faster. We're hearing that the next set of billionaires is coming out of ChatGPT and AI. Some of us are still demonizing it. Right? So people are moving. Those who are wanting to make the most of it are not
They're already in there.
They are already in there
How
racing.
does this thing work?
How does
make
this
money?
Yeah, help you make it, and they're making it, right? I do have a niece that works for a tech company in the UK, and if you see the things that they're doing in the real estate using ChatGPT and she's always talking about the amount of money we're making. The way they're using ChatGPT to make sure that real estates and I don't know, those their clients. But it's the agility, right? So if you get attached and stay too long, what is it costing you, to your point? So you can overstay, but what is it costing you financially, emotionally as well? But your own growth. So it can give you the comfort, right, to say, I'm comfortable, but your growth is stagnant. So we do get stuck, and we're not moving forward because we're not making those decisions quicker and faster because of the fear of loss. Obviously, it's psychological, right?
Yeah.
The fear of loss, the uncertainty. What if I fail? What if it's those emotional games you're talking about.
What if I succeed and lose
What if
community?
I succeed and exactly? What if I succeed and lose community?
Or succeed and they say you're going to a mountain somewhere. You've
That's
got something.
big. That's big. People don't take on opportunities because they are afraid of being accused of something. Right? So, and we hear this. We hear this in families. We hear this with, around us all the time. So sometimes people are like, I'm not doing this.
What would you say to women in particular? Because I know that's a passion topic for you, who the emotional mountain they have to climb is that moment where you know you're now making more than your husband or your partner, and he doesn't have the capacity to handle that emotionally.
Whew. Yeah, so I have lived that.
That got you. You took a deep breath there.
I did. So I have lived that, and it is challenging. So there is no almost like an advice I can give, like a quick advice, because obviously it's experiential. And people also make choices based on what's around them, the context.
Circumstances are different.
The circumstances are different. But I think for me, the moment that begins to take away my peace, because I think that for me was the turning moment, the pivotal moment to say, it's now costing me more emotionally. Right? And we are not able to find the alignment where we can have a conversation around how do we support each other? What support do you need? Because I imagine it's hard for them as well. It's not one-sided. It's hard for them because you grew up being told you're going to be the head of the house. You're also trying to work through.
And she makes double.
Yes. So you also, so I normally talk about, I think we're living through what we call it's almost like the turning point. Right, we're living through the turning point, and that is not going to be, it's rough for both the men and the women, right? So I think for me, it's what is it costing you emotionally? Are you able to get the help that you need? And if you can find external help, sometimes you get external help, you go to marriage counseling and it works, but sometimes it just doesn't work. It doesn't change nothing. So you need to make the choice. Do you live with that? I remember going to therapy when I was going through my process, and my therapist said to me, look, you're banging your head on the same thing over and over again. And you've been doing it for now, since I've known you.
Yeah.
You need to make a decision. And your decision is either you change it by removing yourself or you accept it.
That's a decision as well.
That's a decision. So if you accept it, then don't complain
Cry
and
about
whine about it. Just so there's an emotional almost reset that needs to occur to say, this is it. Right.
One way or the other, you're making a decision.
You're making a decision. So whether you decide to stay, whether you decide to go, it's a decision. But I think the key thing is, what is it costing you? Is it sustainable? How far can you go? Is it sustainable? Because I think also there's a lot of potential lost while we sit in this place of, we think it's indecision.
It's also inaction.
It's inaction. Do I go, do I not? What's possible if you did? And what's possible if you stayed and accepted that this is a situation and I'm dealing with this? And you don't give up. So there's a lot of giving up and succumbing to the situation, that this situation takes center stage and you don't live life. Right? So you could still stay and live life. Just then live life, if that makes sense. Cool.
So you're not 20 years later realizing that I should have been partying and having...
Yes, there I am. Like, because I'm like, church,
I was too serious.
I was too serious about life. Now you're here and you're like, I should have partied. I should have had more fun. I should have talked to more people. You know? So those are some of the things that you like look back and like, okay, yeah, what did I miss?
Such a beautiful masterclass. I would love to engage you on the book next time, Financial Confidence. Financial Confidence for Her Wellbeing. Is this the one you're launching?
This is the book we're launching on the 27th of June.
You dropped some serious bars here. Gave a summary of what the book is all about, and of where people can get the book.
Yes, so if people are joining us for the launch, they can go on Quicket, search for Financial Confidence for Her Wellbeing. They will get information to register for the upcoming launch. But also people can go to drmavismazhura.co.za and they can also purchase the book on that website.
What's the book all about?
So the book is about women and how they can create financial confidence. So they experience walking a journey with a number of women through one of our flagship programs, the Leadership for Women, is realizing how many women look professionally successful, but their finances are telling a different story.
The bank balance is communicating something else.
Right? And the amount of, to your point earlier on, where you sometimes have a conversation with someone who is in a workplace that is no longer supporting them. So I've been in sessions where women will cry the whole session. And I'm like, this is coaching, it's not therapy, right? But because a person is experiencing what they're experiencing, the meltdown, the workplace is not good, the boss is not good, things are happening. But financially, you can't leave. You don't have that choice or luxury of living. So you would rather mentally break down.
Bills.
Yes, exactly, right. You'd rather mentally, I've seen people mentally break down, even going to an institution.
But still can't leave.
And you look at it and you're like, why? And then you realize it's the finances. Same thing as the relationships we spoke about earlier on.
Yeah.
You realize that someone is in a relationship, it's just not working. But why are they not leaving? Finances. Or sometimes I've spoken to some executives, so now people are more almost open to leaving, so they will leave. Not something that I don't encourage. We still need a family structure. But it has to almost work. But you also see women leaving years and years of building into a marriage financially, walking with nothing. And that is painful.
So those are the things that you want to
Those are
speak
things
against.
we're speaking about, to say, how do we recondition ourselves? How do we build our own financial mindsets as females? Not to undermine the men in our lives, but also not to delegate and subcontract our financial lives. Right? So we are either subcontracting them to the church, right? Or we subcontract them to, male counterparts in our families, or we subcontract them to the bank. The bank gives you a loan, you don't interrogate it, you don't know what the interest rate is, you're so grateful they've given it to you. So we need to get to a place where we can build our own literacy that can support us for where we are and where we need to get. But also just to be comfortable owning, right? Most of us don't own. Most of us want to, have our male counterparts. I was saying to someone, even though I can pay my own bills, honestly, there's a part of me that wants someone to do it. And so we were laughing and asking, but what is that about? But it's the conditioning. It's set so deep that you grew up being told someone has to do it, that even the education is not cancelling the condition, which is very interesting.
So the education is not powerful enough. University is not powerful enough to undo your emotional conditioning.
No. No. So we need a separate journey, and that's where the difference between education and development comes in.
Are you going to run masterclasses on
the book?
This?
We'll see. I haven't kind of thought about it yet, but it's an option.
We'll invite you for one.
Okay.
I want to launch some live ones and have an audience come through here.
Oh, wow. That'll be...
Shoot live, and they will grill you.
And ask questions.
What about me? But thank you so much. I think it became quite clear why Ma Wendy proudly says you're a mentor of hers.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. And thank you for this conversation.
And I appreciate the work that you're doing. All the
Thank
best
you.
with the launch. We are going to put in the description of the video, I think we can pin a comment as well, where you can book to go for the launch. That's where you'll find the book. Where else will they be buying it, by the way?
So it will also be on Amazon, but also drmavismazhura.co.za, so they can also purchase on the website.
All right, let's help the good doc after all this value launch successfully. How much is the book?
The book is 300 Rand.
Thank you. 300 rands in dollars. You haven't done the conversion.
Not yet, so it's still to be
But
uploaded
on Amazon, I suppose it will
on Amazon.
auto-convert.
It will auto-convert, yes. Yeah.
Thank you for hanging us till this time, and thank you to Ma Wendy for all those that did go to her channel and subscribe. She said we can use her set, so that's us today. And thank you to Doc. See you in the next episode.